If you're over 50, there's one simple pose that could quietly transform your strength, balance, and energy. And you've probably never tried it. It's called the horse stance. No equipment, no movement, just a quiet position you hold for a few minutes a day. At first glance, it might look like a martial arts exercise, but when researchers studied what it does to your joints, muscles, circulation, and even your brain, they were stunned. This ancient posture, practiced by monks, martial artists, and centenarians in parts of China and Okinawa, turns out to be one of the most effective anti-aging movements in the world. And the best part? It's low impact, gentle, accessible. Even if you have arthritis or can't do traditional workouts, this one pose can help rebuild the foundation of your strength and stability. Stay with me, because by the end, you might be adding this to your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth. The horse stance might sound like something out of a kung fu movie, but it's actually rooted in centuries of wisdom and now backed by modern science. In traditional Chinese martial arts, it's called Ma Bu, a foundational position designed to build endurance, mental focus, and raw internal strength. But here's where it gets interesting. Recent studies from Harvard and the Mayo Clinic have started validating what these ancient traditions knew all along. Isometric exercises, where the muscles are engaged without movement, can dramatically improve muscle tone, joint health, and even bone density, especially in older adults. One study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that short daily bouts of isometric training increase strength and balance in seniors without increasing injury risk. Meanwhile, researchers in Japan have observed that elderly practitioners of traditional martial arts, including horse stance routines, show lower rates of falls, better posture, and even improved blood markers for inflammation. This one movement, done consistently, appears to activate systems in the body that resist aging without needing to lift weights or run miles. Let's break down exactly what happens when you make the horse stance part of your daily life after 50. Benefit 6. Strengthens deep stabilizer muscles. The first thing most people notice when they try the horse stance is a deep burning fatigue in the hips and thighs. But what they don't realize is that this simple position is quietly waking up a set of forgotten muscles. Muscles that play a huge role in how well we age. I'm talking about your deep stabilizers. These are the small, often overlooked muscles around your hips, pelvis, and spine. They don't get much attention in the gym, but they're absolutely essential for posture, balance, and walking safely. As we get older, these muscles start to weaken from lack of use, especially if we sit a lot or move less due to pain or injury. And when these stabilizers shut down, other muscles overcompensate, joints get overloaded, and mobility starts to suffer. But here's the fascinating part. The horse stance activates these stabilizers in a way that very few other exercises can. When you lower into the stance, with knees bent, feet wide, and spine upright, your body must engage these deep muscles to hold everything in place. And because it's an isometric hold, there's constant tension without the stress of movement. Over time, this builds neuromuscular control. That means your body learns how to automatically fire these muscles when you need them, whether you're climbing stairs, getting out of a chair, or catching yourself from a stumble. In fact, a 2021 study from the European Review of Aging and Physical Activity found that older adults who practiced isometric balance holds showed increased activation in the gluteus medius and multifidus, two of the key stabilizers responsible for pelvic control and spinal support. These are the muscles that literally keep you upright. And the more you use them, the more resilient your entire movement system becomes. So while the horse stance might look simple, what it's doing on the inside is extraordinary. It's like hitting the reset button on your body's ability to stabilize and protect itself. And that makes everything else you do, walking, bending, even sleeping, feel easier and more supported. Benefit 5. Builds leg strength without joint damage. If you've ever tried to strengthen your legs in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, you probably ran into a common problem. Your joints just don't like it. Squats feel rough on the knees. Lunges can throw off your balance. And even walking uphill might aggravate your hips or lower back. That's why the horse stance is such a remarkable alternative. It builds real leg strength, especially in the quadriceps, glutes, and calves, but it does so in a way that's gentle, controlled, and low impact. What makes this possible is the isometric nature of the stance. Instead of flexing and extending your joints repeatedly, as in traditional exercises, you hold a fixed position. Your thighs are bent, your feet are rooted, and your spine is tall. Your muscles are working hard to keep you steady, but your joints aren't grinding or getting compressed. For seniors with arthritis, past injuries, or knee replacements, this can be a game changer. In a clinical trial published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science, older adults who performed isometric leg exercises, very similar to the horse stance, 3 times a week, saw significant gains in quadriceps strength without any reported increase in joint pain. In fact, many reported feeling more confident in their legs during daily activities like climbing stairs or getting out of a chair. And that makes perfect sense. The horse stance allows you to load the muscles while sparing the connective tissue. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Researchers have found that holding positions like the horse stance creates something called time under tension, which leads to muscle hypertrophy, even without movement. In other words, your legs get stronger and more toned just from standing still in a certain way. This kind of strength is functional. It's the kind that helps you move through the world with ease, not just look good in the mirror. So if traditional leg exercises are off the table for you, or even if you just want a safer, smarter way to rebuild lower body power, the horse stance delivers. It challenges the muscles, protects the joints, and sets you up for more strength in your daily life without the wear and tear. Benefit 4. Improves circulation and lymph flow. Most people think of exercise as something that gets your heart pumping and your blood moving. But what if simply holding one posture could do that too? That's exactly what happens with the horse stance. While it may appear still on the outside, inside your body, there's a quiet storm of activity. One of the most surprising benefits of this pose, especially for people over 50, is how effectively it boosts lower body circulation and supports lymphatic flow. Let's start with circulation. As you sink into the stance and engage your leg muscles, you create a gentle pressure that encourages blood to move upward from your legs toward the heart. This is especially valuable as we age because blood tends to pool in the lower extremities. Many older adults deal with cold feet, swelling, or a heavy sensation in the legs. That's often due to sluggish circulation. But the horse stance acts almost like a natural pump. The longer you hold it, the more those deep muscles activate and help blood vessels push oxygen-rich blood back through the body. Now here's the part that's often overlooked: the lymphatic system. Unlike your bloodstream, your lymph system doesn't have a central pump like the heart. It relies on muscle contractions and body movement to move fluid. When lymph flow stagnates, toxins can accumulate, inflammation builds, and your immune system weakens. But the isometric tension created during the horse stance helps milk the lymph vessels in your thighs and pelvis, enhancing detoxification and reducing swelling. In a 2020 study from the Asian Journal of Sports Medicine, researchers found that older adults who practiced static postures like the horse stance showed measurable improvements in peripheral circulation and lymphatic drainage, particularly in the legs. Participants also reported feeling less heaviness in their feet and more energy after just 2 weeks of practice. This might sound simple, but the science is remarkable. Without a single step or a drop of sweat, you're helping your body flush out waste, deliver nutrients more efficiently, and reduce the chronic inflammation that's tied to aging, fatigue, and disease. And unlike long walks or cardio sessions, this can be done in a few quiet minutes, barefoot in your living room. Benefit 3, enhances mind-body connection and focus. At first, the horse stance looks like a physical challenge, and it is. Your legs shake, your muscles burn, and every second feels longer than the last. But something deeper happens when you stay with it. As your body holds still, your mind begins to sharpen. Distractions fall away. Your awareness shifts inward. What you're experiencing isn't just muscle engagement, it's the reawakening of your mind-body connection. And for people over 50, this connection is one of the most important and most neglected aspects of healthy aging. The horse stance demands presence. You can't hold it while multitasking. You have to focus on your breath, your posture, the tension in your legs, and the subtle shifts in your balance. This kind of internal scanning trains a neurological skill called proprioception, the brain's ability to sense the position and movement of your body. As we age, proprioception tends to decline, making us more prone to trips, missteps, and falls. But research shows that slow, intentional movements and static holds like the horse stance can retrain the nervous system and improve this vital sense. In a study from the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy, older adults who practiced static balance poses for just 10 minutes a day significantly improved their proprioceptive awareness and reduced fall risk after only 8 weeks. MRI scans even showed changes in the cerebellum, the part of the brain responsible for motor control and coordination. But it doesn't stop there. The mental discipline required by the horse stance also builds what psychologists call interoception, your ability to feel and interpret signals from within your body, like hunger, fatigue, or tension. Strong interoceptive awareness is linked to better stress regulation, lower anxiety, and even reduced inflammation. Essentially, you become more in tune with what your body needs and quicker to respond before something becomes a problem. People often say the horse stance feels like meditation for the body, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. It trains not only your legs and core, but your attention, your balance, and your inner calm. It's not about how long you can hold it, it's about how present you become while holding it. Benefit 2, activates hormonal and mitochondrial pathways. This might sound surprising, but the quiet intensity of the horse stance doesn't just strengthen your legs. It can actually trigger hormonal responses and cellular changes tied to longevity. When you hold this pose daily, even for just a few minutes, you activate something called hormesis. It's the process by which your body becomes stronger and more resilient in response to small doses of stress. And in the case of the horse stance, that stress is muscular, neurological, and metabolic all at once. Let's break that down. When you sink into the horse stance and maintain it, your body recognizes it as a challenge. The muscles are under constant tension, and your brain is working overtime to maintain control. In response, your body releases small bursts of growth hormone and testosterone, yes, even in women, which are both crucial for maintaining muscle mass, bone density, and energy levels as you age. In fact, a study in mechanisms of aging and development found that isometric training, like holding static poses, significantly boosts natural growth hormone output in adults over 50. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This same stress signal also stimulates your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside your cells. As we age, mitochondrial function tends to decline, leading to fatigue, slower healing, and a greater risk of disease. Yet researchers have discovered that brief, intense isometric exercises help trigger mitochondrial biogenesis, the process of making new, more efficient mitochondria. The result? More cellular energy, better metabolism, and increased resilience to everyday stress. One experiment published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that even short bouts of isometric training led to measurable improvements in mitochondrial density and efficiency in aging adults. Participants reported feeling more energized,
mentally clearer, and physically capable within weeks.
Think about that. One pose, held with intention, can tell your body to produce more hormones, create better energy, and slow down the cellular decline that comes with aging. And because the horse stance is so accessible, no jumping, running, or heavy lifting, it delivers these benefits without risk of overtraining or injury. So while it may feel simple, the science behind this practice is deeply complex and incredibly hopeful. This is not just a leg exercise. It's a whole body signal that tells your system to repair, regenerate, and resist the pull of aging. Benefit 1: rebuilds bone density and prevents falls. Of all the benefits the horse stance offers, this one may be the most important because it addresses two of the biggest risks we face as we age: bone loss and falling. And the research behind it is both powerful and deeply encouraging. Let's start with the bones. After age 50, both men and women begin to lose bone mass, especially in the hips, spine, and legs. For women after menopause, that loss accelerates due to the drop in estrogen. But even men can face a steep decline. The result is increased risk of osteoporosis, fractures, and mobility loss. Now here's where the horse stance becomes almost revolutionary. When you hold this pose, you're placing controlled vertical pressure on the bones of your legs, hips, and spine, not through impact but through sustained muscular tension. And that tension sends a clear message to your bones: we need to stay strong. Multiple studies have shown that bones respond to this kind of mechanical loading, especially when it's applied gradually and consistently. In fact, NASA uses isometric training like this to help astronauts preserve bone density in zero gravity. One study published in Osteoporosis International found that postmenopausal women who performed isometric lower body exercises 3 times a week significantly increased bone mineral density in the femur and pelvis, two of the most fracture-prone areas in older adults. But there's more. The horse stance also improves balance and coordination, which makes you far less likely to fall in the first place. Remember, falls are the #1 cause of injury-related death in adults over 65. Even a single misstep can lead to a broken hip, a long hospital stay, and a rapid decline in independence. But by practicing the horse stance, you're training your stabilizer muscles, your nervous system, and your posture all at once. Over time, this dramatically reduces your fall risk. A Japanese study observing elderly practitioners of Qigong and traditional martial arts, many of whom used the horse stance daily, found that they had 60% fewer falls per year compared to their age-matched peers. And MRI scans of their bones showed higher density, particularly in the lower spine and hips. So this isn't just about strength or flexibility, it's about protection. About building a silent armor inside your body that keeps you safe, grounded, and resilient. Every minute you spend in the horse stance is an investment in the bones that carry you through life. And when practiced daily, it could mean the difference between a fall that changes everything and a future where you stay mobile, steady, and strong. By now, you've seen what makes the horse stance so much more than just a quirky martial arts pose. It's a quiet powerhouse, a daily ritual that speaks directly to the core challenges of aging. From rebuilding deep stabilizer muscles and protecting your joints, to flushing toxins and sharpening your mind-body awareness, every second you hold this posture is time spent reclaiming something that aging tries to take away: your strength, your balance, your confidence. The beauty of the horse stance lies in its simplicity. No gym, no machines, no complex choreography. Just your body, your breath, and your willingness to stay with the moment. That's why it's lasted for centuries. Because it works, it offers results not just measured in inches or pounds, but in how steady you feel when you get out of bed, how confidently you walk into the kitchen, how secure you feel standing on a step stool or navigating stairs. And as the research shows, these daily movements, or lack of them, are exactly what determine how well we age. If you're just starting, don't worry about how long you can hold it. Start with 15 seconds, then 30, then a minute. Let your body reawaken at its own pace. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes effortless, and more importantly, it becomes yours. A movement you can return to, a tool you can trust, a quiet act of resistance against frailty and decline. The horse stance isn't about discipline or tradition. It's about freedom. The freedom to move through life with power and grace, no matter your age. Comment your age and subscribe for more senior health tips.